I would like to introduce first our investors on the panel, Allan, Chou of RAIDiCAL China. Give it up for Allan, ladies and gentlemen. Miguel, Encarnacion, Novel Capital. Give it up for Miguel. But of course, we saved the best for last. Give it up for Lisa Liu of Redstone Venture Capital. Come on, Lisa, come on, come on, come on, come on. The energy, really exploding of the energy is... Okay, and Annabell Young of 5G Capital, welcome as well. Give it up for Annabell. Great. So, where's the beer? We always have beer for the jury at our pitch competition. Okay, Carolyn, yes. Applause for Carolyn, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, okay, great. So, 4 startups, 4 minutes each, and then commentary from our jury, 4 minutes. So it will in total take 8 minutes per startup. In only half an hour, we will know who has won the pitch competition at the second day of the Asia Pacific Week 2019. This is day 2, connecting startup cities. And the first startup that is going to pitch is industrial analytics. And Richard, I want to suggest something. You start. Oh no! You start in the back of the room. So please walk now to the back of the room. Yes. And of course, because I mean, in 32 minutes, this will be over, right? So please bear with us. And then yeah, okay, this is right. And then I say 1, 2, 3, and then you're going to run to the stage and you're going to wave your hands like this, and everybody that you pass is going to give the best applause that they have. So, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Industrial Analytics, Richard Büssow!
Yeah, thank you very much. This was a run. Yeah, it's Industrial Analytics, the company that I'm representing here. We founded this with 6 people that actually worked for a machinery manufacturer. So, large company, subsidiary of Volkswagen, you probably know, and so building big machines. So machines that you might see there. So it could be on an oil platform, or what we're working on, what you'll see now, is a power station, which is some meters from here, Janowitzbrücke. And yeah, it's a combined gas and steam power station, and we are monitoring the equipment there. And why are we doing this? Why does this big company that is running the power station went to a startup and said, okay, you should be the guys that are running the machines? And I need to take some air. Yeah, and the thing is, what they are looking for is people that really know about the machines. So they say, okay, we want to enhance the monitoring of our machines. We know that we can save some time for this, that we can increase the uptime, that we can reduce the cost for maintenance. But what we can see a lot on the market is people that know about data analytics, they know about algorithms, but what they don't know is about the machines. And this is where we come in, because we say, okay, we're coming from a company that actually built the machines. There are engineers that built the machines, so they know about the engineering, they know about the physics about the machine, and now did a lot of AI research and know a lot about of IT, and now we are providing this service. And combining their acoustics, vibration monitoring for these machines, and also not doing like normal AI things, but also physics-based modeling, so really like thermodynamic models, mechanical models of the parts on the machine, what is happening if there is some unbalance happening, what is happening if there is something clogging, and so on. And so this we are combining with normal, let's say, machine learning algorithms. Yeah, and the whole thing, not really applying like a platform, but we are saying, okay, we are integrating. So they are running the plant, they have something, they have probably SAP, they have OSI soft Pi system, so they have something already running, getting some data in. We're integrating in this, getting new sensors on the machine, getting then in the getting this data from the new sensors in the existing platforms, and integrating in this what they have. So this is one part of the story, and then the most important thing is doing the analytics. And so from these platforms that we have. They are probably on cloud or they are on premise, but we are applying then the analytics service, reading the data from the platform, analyzing it, and getting out the insights that the people that run the plant need for their maintenance intervals and for energy efficiency. We are doing projects where we say, okay, we don't want any money now. We just want half of the reductions that you get. Okay, and now we will have a really quick look on what these physics-based models are doing. So this is like a simulation and the real values. So you have the compressor power, and the idea is, yeah, it's in a band, and we are simulating the band. We know what the value should be, and what the operator gets is like an indicator of the whole asset. So it's also about aggregation of information. What is the health of the machine? Yeah, that's it. I hope I'm time. Thank you very much.
Very good. Take the stage, middle of the stage. The questions will now follow. So each investor. Microphones will work. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'll go ahead while this is being fixed.
Please do.
So it's clear what you're trying to do, but what's not clear is what you are trying to do. The technology is clear, but the magnitude in which you're doing it is not clear. So like, what sort of improvements are we talking about here, right? Like, you're trying to improve it, but like, is it 10%, 50%? And side by side with that, like, what sort of like cost, I mean, is tied to that?
Yeah. So when it comes to maintenance, when it comes to maintenance, this question is always really hard to answer. When it comes to the savings that you can get with the improvement of the maintenance, it's really hard to answer this question. Everyone who's in this business will tell you, because you need to have these before and after comparison that you typically do not have in this field. But what we are, for example, doing is what I just said is aggregation of information, and then it comes to monitoring personnel. So really, how many people do you need to monitor a plant? And we're doing a project in a chemical plant, and the result in the end is that they reduce the personnel which is monitoring the machines by 1/3. So, and you can imagine that this is really a lot of savings there. Cost. Yeah, so cost is when you have a team like 2 people that are this team, and they run the thing, of course, 365 days a week and so on. Then you can imagine that it's easy like 10 FTE seats that they need less for monitoring the plant. Mm-hmm.
Next question.
Yeah. First of all, thank you for your pitch. Just touching upon the previous question, because you mentioned earlier that your business model is that you take a cut of the reduction, right? But then you just also said that you can't really monitor the reduction and it's more of an analytics. Can you just briefly elaborate a bit more on the business model?
Yeah. So yeah, we are quite flexible there. Of course, it's startup, no? So talking to the people running the plants and seeing then what's happening there. And so this is another project we are doing for a steel plant, and there it's like this that they say, we actually don't know what the savings are, but we analyzed a little bit the data that they gave us, and we saw, there's really potential for energy efficiency. No? So this is not always the case. This is sometimes the case. Depends a little bit on the situation where the machines are operated. If they are really far from the optimum, then there is some potential. And then we said, it's okay, we just take the half of the savings that we get to you. No? So it depends on the specific case. No? Do they want to reduce the personnel? Is it more about uptime? Or there it was really, because we saw the potential of the saving.
Yes, I want to ask because you solve some problems in the machine or in the factory. So I want to know, have you compared the other competitors maybe around the world? They have the similar technology to solve the problem. Maybe they go ahead of you. Maybe you can have you do that research.
Yeah. So the thing there is, it's about this physics-based modeling that we're doing. So really that you have a thermodynamic model where you can get the powers out of the plant, for example. And when you do not have this, you actually are not able really to calculate before how much the saving might be. And so you're able to run these scenarios through. And this is nothing that you would do if you have just a neural network that was trained about reproducing something. And these additional insights, this is something special that we're doing. And that actually, in this part, I don't know about anyone who's doing it like this.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe we should have some schnapps so that, you know, I can have a choice between the beer and the schnapps. No, but it's a hardware and software solution, correct?
Yeah, so what mainly type of software, but yeah.
Yeah, but what type of sensors are you using to get the data? What type of, because machines are very different. So what type of sensors are you using to actually log the data and you know, just making sure you have the data?
Yeah. Typically, because it's big machines, they are quite well equipped already. So, and we are tapping then the machines, the data that is in the control. So they're trying to, or what we're using there is standards. So industrial standards to get the data from the control of the machine out. And what we are additionally applying is sensors for the vibration acoustics monitoring. So this we are like plugging ourselves. We're not building them, or not we're just choosing something that exists, but integrating the whole thing. No? So doing pre-processing on site. So yeah, you know, you should do everything that you are able to do on site so that you reduce the amount of data that is transmitted to the cloud to be cost efficient. And so the amount of sensors that are actually installed additionally is limited. No? So the main data is existing already.
Okay. One follow-on question, or?
Well, I mean, I was going to ask, so because rotary vibration sensor is one type of sensor, but machines are quite, you know, quite diverse in terms of, so are you able to cover all the machines with whatever sensor you're using and with the existing in-machine data?
Yeah, so we are concentrating a lot of rotating equipment, so compressors, pumps, things like this. Huh? So, and this is actually the core things where we're concentrating on, and a little bit the vision where we expand is to say, okay, we want to go for a whole chemical process, for example, and then simulate the whole process.
Yeah. So, what did you think of the pitch? Was it okay? Yeah? Okay. Great job. Thank you so much. Next one up is DronaMaps. Sorry. Shall we follow the same procedure, or don't you feel comfortable? It's too far. Okay. Ayushi, Mishra, ladies and gentlemen.
Just give me a moment. All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Ayushi, co-founder and director of strategic partnerships for DronaMaps. It's an enterprise platform to build large-scale maps in 3D with drones, and we derive analytics off of it. So I'm going to just give you a sneak peek into how the 3D maps look for city scale. You just play the video for 30 seconds. So what you're going to look at now is basically industrial areas in India, and also like entire cities built in 3D. These are commodity drones. 90% of the hardware drone market is occupied by a player called DJI. So we actually like use DJI drones back in India, and also fixed wing, depending on the application. We don't fly ourselves. We have drone service providers who fly for us. We only procure the data. And we have our own reconstruction pipelines from which point onwards, like we reconstruct the data into large-scale maps and then derive the analytics. I think you can stop it from here. So that's like the DJI drone, which like you would also see in weddings and also like a hobby drone. So it's that easy to fly. Can you move the slide? OK, I can do it from here. Yeah, right. So just moving on. These maps are basically 1 to 5 centimeter per pixel resolution accurate. You're looking at, and in order to make them more accurate, like we use ground control points or DGPS measurements. Now, I've been told that the Germans love their prostheses, so I'm basically going to talk about like how the entire product works. In the beginning, there is the part where you are supposed to tell anybody who's flying the drone or collecting the data that how is he supposed to fly, how to plan the flight depending on the elevations that they're dealing with, depending on the areas that they're dealing with, and depending on like the chunks of the craft that they're using in order to fly. The other aspect of it is what is it that they're using in order to make the maps more accurate. It could be RTK, which is another technology which is mounted on the drone. There is DGPS. There's a bunch of options. After this point, the images that are procured and where our pipeline is more robust is just the size of data it can handle. So like recently, we mapped like 400 square kilometers in one go. Any commercial platform that enables mapping for these large areas or reconstruction of drone data actually only accepts like 10,000 images, and we are talking about 1 million images at the same time. So we start sorting the data right in the beginning. So deep learning starts from the beginning, rooting out the bad images, also breaking the data into manageable chunks so that lesser and lesser amount of resources are used. At the end of all of this, once you've reconstructed it into a map, the last bit of it is where our actual differentiation lies, the settlement and precision agriculture deep learning toolkits. So these toolkits are optimized to actually figure out where plot boundaries are, built-up areas, like what is the roads, in precision agriculture, what is the plant count, what is the plant health. Now, the two aspects, like the beginning and the end, the pre-flight and the toolkits, are both easily available for any of these users who has a drone and wants to fly anywhere in the world. So you might have heard of like drone mapping endeavors in Zanzibar or Tanzania. Like any of these people can actually use our platform to extract analytics. So I guess if you're anything like me, you would wonder, all the tech is cool, what is it used for? In our case, we have actually worked with 3 smart cities, 6 Indian state governments, and multiple precision agriculture projects, and also smart villages with the University of Berkeley. This project particularly is about like tagging, and what we give is actually customized platforms for smart cities with geotagged assets. All these assets are tagged entirely automated, so that's the entire classification of like the kinds of different assets that we identify. This is primarily for property taxes, so whatever like asset that you click on, you'd be able to tell which area it is in, what is the size, so on and so forth, and then there are dynamic dashboards attached to it. So yeah, just to breeze through the entire thing, there is change tracking, there is like precision agriculture. Yep, so at the end of it, that's it, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe can I ask a question? Is who's your target client? The government or the property company or some of the map companies? So can I ask that?
So in our case, the target client has actually we've been operational for 2.5 years. And I've noticed that the target client has evolved over the years. So it started with governments, then it moved on to enterprise, and I'm probably our vision is that it would get more and more B2C, at least on the toolkits aspect and the pre-flight planning, but it would always be turnkey for enterprises. So yes, largely speaking, the money is actually coming from the enterprises and the governments, B2B.
Thank you for your pitch. I was wondering, as you just also said, you have so many different target clients, but what is the real added value that you bring to those?
So in terms of real added value, I'll actually start with the drones themselves, right? So change tracking is a lot cheaper with drones. They're a lot more nimble. So when we start mapping with drones, it's just we do it a lot more recurringly, and there are customized platforms that are built for larger clients. So let's say if I'm working with a multinational, or we're partners with SAP and S3. So we're basically helping them project track, track the progress of a project in terms of volumetric analysis of a dam being built. And from my perspective, all of it actually looks very similar. I'm actually just analyzing the polygons in the areas of it. The only thing that changes at the end of it is the delivery platform customization at the end.
Sounds like it's very powerful information, but at the same time, there's so much you could do that in terms of selling this to potential customers, it feels like it's a long sales cycle. So
it's a very long sales cycle, yes.
How long is it exactly, and what's the contract size when you do get that sale?
So a typical contract size that I'm looking at is 100,000 and above. The POCs or pilots are typically around the size of $10,000, something like that. In terms of the sales cycle, I would probably peg it around 3 to 6 months, depending on the client. So if it's a private sector client, like maybe if I'm going with SAP particularly, like to reach out to some oil and gas company for project tracking of pipelines, in that scenario, it's probably still 3 months. In an Indian government scenario, it's probably a little longer.
So are you, after 2 years, are you profitable?
Yes.
Okay, so that's a good thing. And with the drones that you're using, you said that these are off-the-shelf drones, right?
Yes.
And you have these operators that help you, vendors that help you to take the photos, right? Are there any problems in terms of working with these vendors, in terms of getting good data? You know, are they actually doing the things they're supposed to do to make this happen?
Yeah, so that's one of the biggest challenges, actually. So we actually work with about 600 drone service providers in India alone, and then disperse across the world. But let's say talk about within this categorization of 600 drone service providers, I think there are 2 types. One is, of course, so we have mapped entire cities, 90 square kilometers with a DJI drone. So the trouble was, yes, we had to train them, we had to tell them how to do it, and we also had to do the entire QA/QC of the data. So we have a system and a pipeline planned on how to do QA/QC on each data unit that's coming in. And also we tell them how, give them specific instructions on flight plans and everything. So all of that is defined for them. Yes, standardized. So just so that so from a project management perspective, it becomes a little bit cumbersome for me. But from a scalability perspective, I do have people who can go on the ground and cover large areas.
Well, working with the government, at least you have right-of-way issue, approval, right? So if you're doing
That's
something,
actually one of the reasons why we ended up working with the government a lot. It's just a lot easier to procure more and more data for the deep learning side.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much. Great job. Next up is Machine Exchange Coin. Xin Hu. You want, I mean, you look for it. Come on, let's do it together. Come on, let's do it together. Yeah, I just wanted to do it myself. Okay, I'm going to. Okay, so I'm count to 3. And then we will walk onto the stage and we're going to celebrate this moment like there has been never a happier moment in our lives, right? So here we go. 1, 2, 3. Yeah!
So hi there, I'm Xin Hu. I'm the CEO of MXC. So we are a project that founded 3 years ago. We are a team based in Berlin, Germany. So let me introduce you about our project. So we are an end-to-end IoT blockchain solution provider. And what we're actually using is called LPWAN, or Low Power Wide Area Network. This is something that's quite revolutionary. You can use one of our device to cover the whole Berlin. A city like New York or Beijing, it can also be easily covered by such kind of technology. And then you can connect a lot of devices like bikes, street lights, rubbish can, anything in this network. Why? It's because Wi-Fi or 3G, 4G, this kind of technology will have its own physical limitation to connect such a lot of devices. Because you see that in the future, the trend is a lot of devices will be connected to internet. They need much more better management. So what we are doing is to develop this end-to-end IoT LPWAN services to fit for the needs for the future. It's a fast-growing market. We just started. It has huge potential. So we are not a new project. We are working with more than 60 countries already. We have this end-to-end, we are designing a chip. We have our own open source designing chip. We also have our own base station that Deutsche Bahn is also using to cover the whole Berlin already. It's their own network without relying telecoms. And we also have footprint in such a lot of countries, but we are also expanding, have real field deployment with our IoT network and blockchain protocol in more than 60 countries. So what we are actually providing is this kind of chip, base station, blockchain protocol for smart cities specifically to help them to manage the disaster or to help them to have better connectivity inside of the city for the traffic management, something like that. And because it's a very short introduction, I won't go into more details. I'm just going to present something I'm quite proud of. It's our team. So we are like 20 people's team here in Berlin, and we have more than 16 different nationalities. So it's quite diverse team. We raised 3 rounds funding, and in total adds up to around 15 million euros, something like that. And yeah, we are keep expanding. Yeah, since we have such a multinational team, that's why we're expanding to more than 60 countries over the world. And also, not limited to our team, our advisory board is also quite impressive. So we have Jeffrey Wernick, who helped Uber and Airbnb at the early stage to expand. And also Leo is a very famous investor in China. And we also have a Berlin advisor called Meinhard, who is really a good entrepreneur that helped us. So starting up here in Berlin is not really easy for Asian founder, but actually we made it, and we are expecting to have a more footprint to everywhere around the world using our end-to-end IoT blockchain technology to make a real huge impact. If you want to get to know how we can make your city or your infrastructure much more smarter, check our LinkedIn and connect with me. Thank you.
Wow. I mean, right on time. Excellent. Questions?
So I know this this factory analytics company that might need some monitoring that could be useful for your project there, huh? So getting the data. So what's the biggest pain point? It sounds like everything's going well. What's your biggest pain point right now?
Actually, we have end-to-end solution compared to a lot of like blockchain company or hardware company. They only provide a fraction of the system. We have chip, our own design chip, and hardware base station that connects to the chip, and blockchain protocol as an end-to-end solution to be provided to different governments or enterprises.
No, but what's the pain point? I mean, where are you having problems right now?
So right now, the problem is that Wi-Fi is really short ranges, right? 100 meters, Bluetooth as well, and 3G, 4G, 1 to 2 kilometers. And 5G is even more shorter. So our technology can connect devices more than 20 kilometers, or sometimes 100 kilometers.
No, yeah. but okay, so that's good. You're solving all the problems. But yeah. What problems are you having with the business?
The business is that
it's all going well.
Yeah. So for example, let's say Mobike, this kind of bike company, right now they're using SIM card to 2G, 3G to connect all of their infrastructure bikes. But it's quite expensive, and sometimes they don't have connectivity inside of the city. So using our technology perfectly solve this like a high infrastructure cost and the connectivity problem.
I need schnapps.
Yeah. So yeah. This is like a training in short of how politicians normally answer. Yeah. So
I know. I was just thinking that. You know.
His next career will be in politics. Yeah. But. I mean, what he's trying to say is, you as a company, the challenge that you now have in order to grow even more for you, for your company. Why are you here?
Yeah, we have the best kick-ass technology.
I know.
Okay, forget it. You cannot touch him. You cannot touch him. I mean, okay. Next question.
Okay, yeah, so I guess everything seems to be going well. So can you tell me a little bit about your traction? You said that you're in 5 countries, but are those just like little POCs? And you said that you already raised 15 million, so you're quite big already.
Yeah.
So like, what is your traction, and like, how do you make money? What's the size of the normal product?
So right now we are generating some revenue by selling this kind of hardware and software already. So, and we are working with this companies or governments on project basis. Let's say New York City garbage collection projects. We put sensors for them on the inside of a trash bin and help them to get this kind of trash bin more connected, deploy the cloud platform, reporting services for them, and they just get data through our system, and at the end they see in their system. So we provide these end-to-end services, they get data.
And then the project, it's like indefinite, or?
Yeah, we have mature products. So we are like 3 years old. Our product is already certified by FCC or this kind of radio governments everywhere around the world.
And how many customers do you have currently?
Right now we have more corporate customers, like 200, something like that. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
When you're pitching to a customer and they see that you're a great team, you're the best team, but sometimes I'm sure you get no's also. When people say no to you, what is the reason that they say no to you?
Yeah, we got a lot of no's. For the majority of cases, it's because they don't understand the IoT industry, right? If they understand IoT industry, they will need to, no offense, not mentioning you. It's a IoT industry. It's more like a data business. You need to get more data from this infrastructure. So people are trying to develop different technology, Bluetooth, 5G, to get more data, to really manage the infrastructure. So actually, right now, most people think that our Wi-Fi is enough or SIM card is enough. So they will say that, oh, what you do is, I don't understand. It's meaningless, something like that. So it's understandable.
Quick follow-up. Yeah. So it sounded to me as if it was a hardware play. So is it, I mean, are you monetizing both the hardware and the data?
Data, no, we can't, because we are like an infrastructure provider, like Ericsson or Cisco. We provide this infrastructure and let people to monetize through our token, MXC token, to trade it. Yeah.
I think you asked my last question. May I find out more? Maybe I'm curious. Because it seems you have a big dream and you want to solve the problem and give. It seems like you will give them the total solution for the government for smart city. So, so have you think about why the government they use the Wi-Fi, they use the 5G to solve the current problem, but don't use your like very smart idea to solve this problem? Have you think about that?
Actually, it's not like 100% of that. A lot of them like start getting to know this new technology, LPWAN. A lot of, I believe that a lot of you here haven't heard LPWAN before my pitch. So actually, a lot of industrial players like IBM and Tencent and Alibaba and in Americans, Comcast, they're all deploying this kind of technology. They try to let more people to know there is a better alternative than Wi-Fi, than Bluetooth, than 5G. So actually, it's I would say, like I just said, we just started. So the market is huge. So yeah, we need more like educating of this kind of technology. Yeah.
I think that we can all agree that it was our pleasure and honor to be here during your masterclass. And yes, and we wish you all the best. Thank you so much. Thank you. Great job. Simple mobility, Marvin Metzke. Yeah, so, yeah, you want to? Yes, of course. Yeah, cool. Last one of today. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and there we go. Shall we do, what shall we do? Don't deduct it from 4 minutes. No, I won't. Okay, let's go. Run and high five, that's a very good idea. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go! Yeah! Oh, again. Last one of today, so we have to make it count. There we go then. 2, 1, go! Yeah! Yeah! Here it is. Your 4 minutes are on.
Oh gosh. Okay.
So, yeah, thanks for that came here today. I'm presenting Simple Mobility, and we offer solutions, mobility solutions for urban environments. So if you think about mobility in urban environments, you see something like this: traffic jams, polluted air, a lot of noise, and yeah, everyone is talking about electric cars to solve this problem, right? But in fact, electric cars are solving the pollution part, maybe the noise part partially, but they're not solving the crowded city part, because you just have too many cars inside the city and not enough infrastructure, not the battery technology, and therefore we actually were thinking about a solution for this problem, meaning we have to get smaller, so a two-wheeler would be our first solution. So in fact, that's what we have right now. The Simple e-Scooter 1 is the first, or let's say the most competitive price scooter in the German market right now. So you get it for less than 2,000 euros and with a 100-kilometer range. So I could actually stop here and say, well, great solution, and we solved all the problems, but that's not the case, right? So everyone, like, owning a vehicle is not really what people or customers want to have nowadays. So it's all about sharing. So and if you look at those numbers here, over there, we see that the market is increasing, but not as much as it could, right? So right now we have only 85 sharing schemes for scooters all over the world, and only 62 cities which do have scooter sharing schemes. So that's not quite a lot if you think about the whole size of scooters available, or of cities available, with a lot of people living there, with people with more than 1 million inhabitants. Well, if you look at nowadays sharing solutions, you have, for example, those you know from Berlin, which are like, for example, Coop. So what their issue is that they don't have a really well-functioning infrastructure behind their scheme. So, for example, when it comes to charging those scooters, there's still people driving around in diesel vans, exchanging those batteries manually, right? And in fact, this is causing huge costs. And yeah, so that's our next solution. So we're thinking about this, and we developed a self-service charging cabinet, which will reduce the cost of charging by up to 70 or up to 75%. Yeah, that's also great solution. But the question is, of course, why are there still why the barriers of entry so high nowadays? So why are there not more sharing schemes? So maybe the charging part could be one issue, but another issue is whenever a new player wants to get a scooter sharing for their city, for their company, for any other cause, they have huge barriers of entry, because first of all, you have to set up a team with the expertise of finding all the right parts and knowing about the business, right? Then you have to find the right suppliers. So you have to find good scooters, which are also shareable. Then you have to think about the charging part we just talked about. And yeah, then you have to set up a software, connect everything all together, and then in the end also do maintenance for it. So that's why we came up with Simple One, which you see over here, the first all-connected integrated scooter sharing solution. So it's a, oops. So it's a solution where the customer just makes a decision. We want to have a scooter sharing scheme in our city, and we will deliver everything else. We do the service, and I'm done. Yeah. Okay, cool. Maybe 10 seconds. So it will have lower cost and a faster setup. Thank you very much.
Okay. Keep it. Yeah.
You have to give me those 10 seconds because I was so out of breath because we were running so much,
true.
right?
Yeah,
So.
it's totally my fault.
So, but hopefully can answer some questions.
Maybe I can just give you or first of all, thank you for your pitch.
Thank you.
Maybe I can give you the chance with my question to finish, because I feel like you're telling a whole story about the scooter. So the scooter is something that you developed, and then you offer this full scooter sharing service. Can you just explain like this service that you make?
Thank you very much. Maya? Exactly. So
Maybe just to sum it up, so we developed a scooter as an MVP to get to know more about the market, right? So because it's a new market, especially for Germany, and there's not much information available. And now when it comes to the service, you mean the entire service or more the technical service?
No, are you going to put scooters on the street and launch a competition to Emmy and Coop?
No, actually Emmy and Coop would be potential customers for us. So because in the end, we're providing the most cost-competitive solution on the market right now because of our charging system I just showed you, and also because of lower setup cost, because we actually have the experience already. And yeah, that's what we try to do. Of course, we will also sell to competitors, Emmy and Coop, and there are actually a lot of governments, big companies who are thinking about this, but they all hesitate to do this because they just do not have the capacities to get the people or the resources to do it.
Yeah. Next question.
Yeah. So I come from the electric scooter capital of the world. No, we've got this stuff flying all over, right? Do you need a license for this in Germany?
Exactly. You can drive with the car license. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, you don't need to literally
a special scooter license. No.
Okay. Well,
no,
one is that. Two is very capex, intensive, man.
Yeah.
I mean, how much do the scooters cost you to actually acquire, and how many do you need to cover the city, and how much do you expect to make in terms of revenue?
Well, we do not buy them and put them on the street. Actually, a customer is deciding to buy them, owning them, and we will produce on orders. So it's not that we are having like 10,000 scooters on hand to just equip a whole city with shared mobility. But yeah, you were talking about revenue numbers, right, per customer. So the ticket size is usually between 350,000 and 2 million.
350,000, 2 million in terms of what?
For one setup.
How many scooters?
That's between 50 and 200.
Okay, so I mean, it takes time to make these things, right? So, I mean, you think that you're gonna. I mean, one is, if you look at all the electric, sort of the PEDs that are out there, right? So the idea is that they break down, right? Because they're not commercial quality, right? So how can you make sure this is commercial quality so that you can have repeated use by people who don't own it? Yeah.
Yeah. Well. That's a complex process, of course. Quality control, intensive testing, improving quality. So we're working with already established companies, especially we produce in China. They have a lot of experience with scooters already, but of course there are a lot of different qualities. You're probably also aware of this. And yeah, in the end, it's also a little bit trial and error. We already did some of the trial, some of the error. Now we feel confident to actually get into the next level.
People, I'll tell you one thing that I've noticed when I'm writing this stuff, and I don't write anymore. But when these things get into accidents, man, there are major problems because of the weight of these, because the batteries are so heavy, right? So they really cause some major problems. All the food delivery guys in China ride this stuff, and they are bat out of hell, right? So major fatalities because it's heavier than normal bikes.
Yeah, well, I cannot totally agree, honestly, since it's like 65 kilos. I think it's not that much heavier than a normal bike. Battery is like 9 kilos. That's okay, but it depends, of course. For example, in China, they have mostly lead acid batteries, which are more heavy and bigger, which cause the whole vehicle to be more bigger, right? That's also something we already thought about. Even though, of course, maybe we can also connect afterwards, and you can let me know some more of your information, since I'm very eager to learn, of course, as well.
Smart move.
Smart move.
Thank you.
Yes.
It's a crowded market.
Yeah.
What do you do better than everyone else? I mean, is it really just cost? Are you competing on cost here?
Well,
and if it is, there's so many companies out there also trying to improve their costs. Like, what is the sustainability of what you're trying to do?
Well, first of all, there's not a single company who's doing the entire holistic approach we have. So there's scooter companies, a lot of them, but they don't have the software part. They don't have the charging part. A lot of battery companies, but they don't have all the other parts. A lot of software companies who don't have all the other parts. So it's always a lot of just cost to setting up all those things, because it's never working perfectly in the beginning. So we can offer the perfect working solution first, and then at the best price available at the market.
Yes, it seems like it's like a business models project. Like let me think about one project in China. It's very popular now. It's put every charger's box in every restaurant, and you can borrow one charger
for the power banks.
Yeah, in the mobile phone. So I want to ask that every scoopers have the standard battery, so you can borrow from your box from that, or if every is not standard product, you need to design for every brand of the scoopers.
Exactly. So right now it's not made for every scooter owner, for the everyday user. It's more made for close sharing solutions. So for example, imagine Coop or Emmy, for example, in Berlin, those scooter schemes, if they would just put those charging stations on the street, they can use them exclusively for their service. Yeah. Of course, there are also thoughts about like opening up the system, but then you have to find a standard, which takes some more time and some more communication among different players. But yeah, of course, it's one of the plan, but not tomorrow, maybe some years or next year, who knows.
Okay, give it up for Simple, ladies and gentlemen. Very good, thank you. Also, part of the journey, some critical questions. So I would like to suggest now that you guys here on stage talk with each other about who has won the pitch competition, which gives me the opportunity to thank you all for being here today. Yes, you can. And to invite the pitching startups again onto the stage. Please come on give them one last round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Great that you were here. Thank you for putting up with all of our nonsense and this running around. If you're critical, then you would say, you know, this is a sign of a bubble. There's a bubble there, you know. It goes all the way to all those kind of nonsense. We don't need that, and then probably you're also right. But what we'd really like to put an emphasis upon is that we're really passionate about this Asia Pacific Week, also now in 2019, that we really love to hear from young entrepreneurs that are active in Asia and also here in Europe. So I hope that you also feel like a little bit enlightened after all the talks of today. But I also want to thank the crew that was not only here today in this room, but throughout the building, where, for example, our audio engineer did a great job today, all the files together, all the audio. Stand up, applause for you, man. You did a great job, thank you. Seems simple, but it's not. And of course, putting up with all the last-minute requests with all the slides that came in. Big applause. And unfortunately, I don't know who did it in all the other rooms. So, but give them an applause too, of course, for their services. Great. Yes. And of course, Mr. Zeider of the city of Berlin, who makes this all possible. Stand up, Rainer. Great, great that you did this. Amazing. And Rainer could not do without Carolyn. Carolyn, stand up. Amazing job. Such hard work. Great. So, oh, yeah. And Eva, of course. Eva also stand up. Great. Actually, lots of people working long hours on these kind of projects. Yeah, and I see other people also, colleagues of yours, Rijn, that are also working really hard on the project. But sometimes, you know, it seems like this is all being organized in a matter of a moment, but it's actually not true. So many people working very hard on this. But in the end, we cannot really do without you guys. So you've been a lovely audience. Thank you for being here today. And for engaging, and I hope that you will also enjoy the barbecue with us later on. Of course, also thanks to SAP, Daimler, and Siemens, because they also sponsored this. Were the main sponsors of today. The barbecue will start right after the jury when they announce who has won the pitch competition. Yeah. Okay. So, who of you is going to announce? No. One of you, come on. Yeah. No, we've heard Allan more than enough today. Yes, so please stand up. Yeah, you go, yeah. Come on, Lisa. Come on, give it up for Lisa. Stand up, stand up. Stand up. Here in the middle of the stage.
You gotta run down also.
No. So take the middle of the stage, it's yours. Maybe you could say something in direction of every startup, some feedback, and then announce the winner.
Okay, so to make it, keep the excitement up.
Yes, very good. Start with the one of the startups that did not win.
No, let me do it how I want. Yeah. So first of all, thank you very much to all 4 of you. It was very interesting and also very different businesses. So I'm happy that we didn't have to hear the same thing 4 times. All of you presented very well, and I think you all have a great solution to a problem. And I think in some regard it's a bit difficult to compare because you're at very different stages. Like you're super early, you are like already made it and are up there already. So it's a bit unfair, I would say. I'm not going to go into every single one of you now. We can have private feedback if you want afterwards. Okay.
Do it as you please. Yeah.
So the winner is DronaMaps. Sorry, I forgot.
Great! Great job.
Okay, so give it all for Ayushi from DronaMaps.
Thank you.
DronaMaps. And why? Why? In short.
We liked, or we thought that it was the best out of all of you because we really like the solution to your problem. It's a huge market. It seems like you have a great technology and many different use cases, and you already proved, like have some traction and proof that you're really solving a problem. Also, your pitch was good. It was clear clear what you were trying to do. So thank you very much. But also thank you to everybody else.
Yes. Okay. So one last thing. PricewaterhouseCoopers does a survey of this conference, and you can rate me. Yeah, okay, so hopefully you will give a 5-star rating. No, but the conference is more important. There are leaflets out there. You can scan the QR code, but also in the app, in the Umbrella app, you can also they also explain how you can fill out this form, this survey. You will get it in your email too, so sorry for the spam already. But don't click it away. It costs only a couple of minutes of your time. It's very useful, helpful for us, because we work so hard on this, but of course we also need some feedback. So you can give it also directly to us now, because we will all join during the barbecue and have a cold beer with you. Thank you so much. Maybe see you tomorrow at the Embassy Day or Thursday in Siemens. But thank you for now for your attention, and hopefully see you next time.